unspoken, unmentioned. Their name is being redacted from our history books because they're no longer famous. They have become infamous. There is an agenda bent on making history meaningless. Because if history is meaningless, then our presence is suspended like a teacup dangling mid-air, has no meaning to it. Our presence in the world loses value because we are supposed to feel guilty about how we got to be here. There's a lot of victimization going on in the world today. There always has been. Victims like to play the empathy card. That's a grave error. Playing the victim is a pathological place to be. It doesn't remember the past how it ought to be remembered. There's no doubt that tragic things have unfolded. There's always been tragedy that is part of the landscape since the fall. But if we want to find any value in our present situation, we've got to remember our past in a meaningful way. The biblical phrase for this is called redeeming the time. Solomon is asking, how do you remember? You can neither remember nor forget what you do not understand. Consider the Holocaust. We should never forget it, nor should we repeat it. But if we don't understand how those things came about, then we don't really remember them in a way that honors those who suffered through them. Instead, the event becomes a sum of historical facts committed to memory. It sits alongside our memory of the periodic table and the football score from the last time my team won the grand final. That's not the kind of remembering that makes any difference at all. You have to understand the causal connections, the pathways people take to do the things that they've done. You need to understand how individuals like Hitler and Hess and Göring and Himmler could emerge, and the societal dynamics that transformed Germany into a totalitarian state that could manifest the Holocaust. And then you've got to go one step further. And this is the most difficult step to take. You have to make the connection between them and yourself. If you assume there's no connection whatsoever, then in that case you haven't remembered the Holocaust at all. Because the right lesson is not that the Holocaust happened. It is that what happened in the Holocaust is what humanity is like. You may say, well, not me. And hopefully that is the case. Hopefully not you. Hopefully not me either. But that's the thing. Given the right circumstance, we all have the possibility of being just like them. And the recent pandemic has proven that we all have the possibility of being just like them. The propaganda that was out there, the people conforming, violence erupting over opinion, violence erupting over elections, violence erupting over vaccinations. No nation was exempt from the things that went on just in our recent memory. Scripture is clear. Paul says, I know that in me, that is in my flesh, dwells no good thing. You've got to join the dots. You've got to draw the connection. You've got to make it real. That's how we remember in a way that gives honor to those who suffered during the tragedies of the past. And in that way, we've got a possibility of not repeating them into the future. We have to honor those who have gone before us. Throughout the Old Testament, I get struck by the honor that Israel gave to their history. Everything is said in reference to Abraham and Isaac and Jacob. And, Jacob was Mr. Shifty. Nevertheless, all is done in honoring their memory. They were connected, and that connection was relevant to their present situation. That identity provided Israel with enough meaning that through all their struggles, even during the Holocaust, they could endure it because they were honoring their ancestry, went all the way back to Abraham and Isaac and Jacob. That's how you remember. You forge an identity, or you give your life meaning in relation to your past, where we come from and what we've been through and what those who have been through before us matters. And that helps to make life matter today. That's what Solomon's getting at here, is that if we don't remember in the right kind of way, then we dishonor not just the past, but we dishonor our place in life in the present. Think about it. The history of anyone who has been born again begins with the death and resurrection of Christ. Remember that. In fact, every time we partake in communion, we remember that. That honors our past, gives reason for our present. There you go. Well, tomorrow we've got more of this entrance into the annals of time. And I'm looking forward to speaking with you a little more from the book of Ecclesiastes. God bless you. May God's hand be upon you and give you meaningful existence in your world today so that you can make a difference to those around you.